Do I make too many TikTok hacks videos? Probably yeah. But I haven't built in Bloxburg for a while, so I do need to get back into the groove of things. So as usual, we're doing a TikTok hacks video. Honestly, stick around for the end because this is my favorite selection I think I've done so far. You guys are in for a treat. But yeah, onto the video. Okay, so this first one is by It's Kalia, but it's this really simple and cute custom background. Okay, so for this one, you're gonna go to structurals, then find this vertical plank. Make sure your grid size is on medium because then you end up with perfect squares, and then just make a bunch of little squares. It doesn't really matter where they are right now because they'll be transformed later. Once you've got your desired amount of tiles, you want to go to color them and change the texture to this circular stone. Once you've colored them like that, you're going to go transform it, but make sure you're on the smallest grid this time and just move them really close together. You want to kind of keep a little gap in between them so that they're not like perfectly together. But if you're doing it for like a bathroom, chances are you don't have to cover loads of surface area. If you did want to make it copy pastable, you probably could by doing this on a big basic shape behind it, acting as like the wall, if that makes sense. But I'm just gonna do this quickly off camera because it's probably a bit boring to watch me transform a bunch of cubes. Okay, now that they're all lined up nicely, a little bit of extra detail you could do is by changing some of the tile colors like ever so slightly, just to give it a bit of variation. If you want the color codes, let me know as well, because I can probably drop them somewhere in the comments. But yeah, this would definitely look really nice in a bathroom. If you do want to make it copy pastable, you probably could by putting it on a basic shape. Let me just quickly demonstrate for you here, and have that act as the wall, and then repeat this whole process but on the basic shape, and then after that you'll be able to copy paste it for the rest of the wall and so on. But if you're only doing it for a small section, honestly, this is really cute. It was quite therapeutic actually lining them up, but yeah, I'll definitely be using these kind of tiles in my bathrooms because they're really cute. Okay, so this one I actually used recently in my other beach house and I loved it, so I want to show it here. This one is by Equinox. I don't know if I said that right, but basically you're gonna go to the decorate tab and find this glass round candle holder, and then get a basic shape, the round cylinder, this one, resize it down. I don't know how much the video says, but I'm gonna go for about that much. Place the candle on top of it and then resize the candle to like make it fit that. I might actually make that cylinder a bit smaller. Obviously then recolor everything to like match what you want it to be. And then basically when you want to place it somewhere, you need to grab it by the basic shape underneath here and just transform it up and rotate it and then connect it. I used a chain. You can honestly use any structural, but I think the chain looks really nice, and connect it from here to the ceiling, and then you can transform it to make it like nice and neat. Or if that's a bit of like hassle trying to constantly transform the chain so that it's straight, what the video does is they take a basic shape again, resize it down to be something like that, and then once you've got the basic shape, you're gonna line it up with the lights like this, basically something like that. And then when you get your chain or whatever structure you're using, make sure you attach it to the light and not this cube here. And then if you attach it up there and you delete that, you can kind of tweak it a little bit, and it's a lot less dramatic of an angle than if I was to do it on my own, like without the basic shape. Then it kind of ends up like all over the place. However, I have another method, which is what I actually ended up using when I made my beach house. Before you transform it, what you're gonna do is take this basic shape, remove the candle, and just copy another version of it, but make it slightly smaller. And then if I just move it up here and then transform that beneath it, you can place this on top and transform all of them together. So you've kind of got like a little attachment bit at the top of the ceiling so that it has something to kind of clip to. So then when you want to attach the chain or structural or whatever, you can attach it to this and it stays relatively straight. And I think that's quite an easy way of doing it. Plus you also end up with like a nice little attachment to the ceiling. I don't know what the word is for it, but you can see what I mean. And it's copy pastable, so if you wanted to have this in other places, you can move it about. And also if you want to vary the heights, all you have to do is just kind of transform it and redo the chain, which saves a lot of time rather than manually doing them all individually like I did. But yeah, honestly, I really love this one. Okay, so this next one is a little custom sofa by Tail Sims. Guys, I've actually been itching to make a custom sofa for ages, so this is literally perfect. But I'm gonna start off by placing this all on a basic shape. The video doesn't do that, but I have just found from experience it is easier because then you can like move the whole sofa around together. You can use a transparent one if you want. That might be a bit like neater, but after you finish building it, you're just going to transform it into the floor like that so you can't see it. In the basic shape tab, you're going to get these beveled cubes, and I'm just going to bring my avatar along for reference around this size, just as my avatar for reference. I don't ever do exact measurements, so just kind of eyeball it, but we're going to place 4 of these, one like so, and then for this next tab, you can either use the beveled horizontal cylinder, or in the decorate tab, the bolster pillow usually works as well, and you can resize it. I tend to prefer these because A, it saves plot data, and B, it's cheaper than using basic shapes, and it pretty much gives you the same thing. Anyways, so it will look something like that. Then we're gonna grab the rectangular pillow, and just, this bit's a bit tedious, but we're just gonna transform them over. So one on here and one behind it. I'm just gonna scale them and make them fit the basic shapes like this. So once you've got that, an easier way of doing this would probably be just delete this and copy them over. However, we do want to keep one of these on the side just for later on. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these over and just fill out the whole space. Obviously, you could probably do it manually as well, but I just find this saves a bit of time. Okay, so once you've got that, you're going to grab one of these bolster pillows again, or your beveled cylinder, and just make sure you place them on this basic shape underneath first before you transform it, otherwise then it won't be able to be moved along with the sofa. And just place it on the side here and just raise it up about that much, and copy the same thing over on this side. Then with this cube that we've saved from earlier, we're going to copy it over here and here, and just do the same thing, just transform it and like place it underneath the cylinder so it will look something like that. Again, we're just going to copy this and leave it to the side for later. Take these bolster pillows and just place another one on top, just like that, and then do the same on this side. I'm going to grab these pillows again, and if you have space, you could probably just place it on this basic shape here, and then just place 2, one on here and then one above it, just to kind of cover up the sides, and then just copy the same thing on this side. Just place one on here to cover up the base, and then transform a second one, cover up the top half of it. Now with this basic shape that we saved from earlier, what we're going to do is just flatten it a little bit and bring it up, and these are going to be like the backrests. Again, place it on the basic shape, and then just transform it to sit at the back of the sofa like that, and copy this over for the others. So we have something like that, and then we're going to grab these pillows again and just place them on top, transform them down and forward, and just copy that along the rest of the sofa. But yeah, the final product should look like this, then you can go ahead and paint it. But yeah, the final product should look like this, then you can go ahead and paint and decorate, which I'm going to do in a moment. But I'm just going to show you what I meant earlier in the sense of keeping it on a basic shape so that the whole thing moves together. Otherwise, if it wasn't, then like certain aspects of the build don't move at the same time, if that makes sense. You'd have to move all the basic shapes individually, which gets really annoying, but by doing it on that, you can save the hassle. I'm just going to paint and decorate it, and I'll come back to you with the final result. Okay, so here's the final look, and then once you transform it into the floor, you can't tell that it's on a basic shape. I think it's really cute. If you wanted to make it functional though, what you could do is place these ottomans underneath it, and then transform the whole thing so that it's over it. When I come out of build mode, I'll have the option to sit here, or at the other ones as well, which I think is a nice little way to make it functional if you're in the role-playing scenery of things. Okay, so this next one is a super cute quilted blanket by Aria. So for this one, you're going to go to basic shapes, grab a cube, and just scale it down around that big. Then in the decorate tab, go to the pillows and grab this tufted round square pillow. So you're going to rescale this one down to its smallest, or just a little bit bigger than that. I think the smaller they are, the cuter it looks, but it is also a lot more hassle. Once you've got that, grab another basic shape. Once you've got that, copy this basic shape and just try to rescale it so it matches the size of this, and then when I transform it, it should fill the whole square. This might take a bit of like trial and error, something like that, so it should fill up the whole square basically. Okay, now once you've got this, I'm going to resize this down a bit because I made the mistake earlier of making it too massive, but you want it to kind of fit like this on your sofa, and then just place 3 along here and then 3 down, just to make a square like so. And I'm gonna color them and get back to you once I've done that. Okay, so mine looks like this, and what I'm gonna do actually is paint these basic shapes the same as the sofa, just so that it blends in a bit nicer. And then grab it by the basic shape underneath and transform it up onto the sofa like so. And then for the other one, you just place it like this and angle it around that, just so it kind of hangs over the edge. If you wanted to add a bit of extra detail, you could place 3 more down here like this, and then just transform them in like that so it looks a bit more natural. Probably do the same thing for the sides if you wanted to hide them, but I think it's good as it is. But yeah, here's the final product for the blanket. I think it's really cute. I definitely want to use it for like some spring builds or like just anything summery and colourful, because I think it'll look so cute. Okay, so this next one is this really cute door by Priscilla, and guys, I'm a fangirl of her builds. If you haven't seen them, go have a look because they're insane. But for this door, what you're going to do is go to the window section and find this traditional window frame, this one. Then just resize it to the size of whatever you want your door to be. Then go to basic shapes, grab a transparent cube and just make it fit the size of the door frame, like so. I'm gonna paint mine with foil, which sounds a bit strange, but trust me, foil for windows actually looks really good. Then get another basic shape, a cube, and just resize it and place it in the middle here. I'm gonna do about that big and just drag it up to the top. Again, paint it, do whatever you want with it, and then we're gonna go to structurals and find the small round rod and make 2 little sort of lines from the top of the beam on either side, like so. Then transform them so that they're like slightly inward, a bit more like centered like that. Back in structurals, you can get the small square beam and just kind of make some horizontal ones. I'm gonna do like 3. Okay, so for the door handle, then you're gonna take this thin square beam and just make like these door handles. I don't know how else to describe it. Then take some ordinary string, I think that's what she uses, either that or rope. Make these 2 little things. I'm just gonna make them to the side like that and transform them onto the structural that we just placed. And then for some extra detail, you can get another one of these small round rods and place it like, hold on, my cat is meowing. And just to finish it off, you're going to take this small round beam and just place it on here like that. Then just transform it like this into the door handle, if that makes sense. But yeah, after you've cut it, there's the final product. I actually love this one. I don't know why I've never thought about using the window frame as like a door frame, because it saves a lot more money than using basic shapes for it. But yeah, I actually love this one. I'm probably going to be using it at some point in my next builds. Okay, so this next one is this really cute Z-shaped coffee table by Honda Builds. So for this one, you're going to go to basic shapes and grab a cube. Then we're going to rescale it to be about, I'm just going to go for this sort of size. So if you want some sort of gauge, this is it compared to the large grid. Just as a note later on, make sure you leave a copy of this base just somewhere to the side of your build because it will be useful later. Then we're going to get a concave straight and just place it on here, resize it down to be about like the thinnest it can be, and then we're going to make it quite small, about like that big honestly. Then I'm going to place one here and then one here, but we're going to transform it to the edge just because it looks a bit neater like that. Okay, then we're going to grab another basic shape, the cube again, and resize it to about that much. Place it here and line it up with the edge again. Then I'm going to use the medium grid here and transform it 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do it 3 times. And then just use the small grid to line it up with the edge of the cube like that. Copy this over and do the same over here. So line it up with the edge. Then with the medium grid, transform it 1, 2, 3. Then I'm just going to move these back a little bit. In fact, I'm going to make them a bit bigger and just transform them back in. A lot of this might have like a bit of trial and error in it, so I'm gonna actually make these a bit bigger and move them back a bit. Just copy that over to the other side. Then we're gonna just fill in this corner with a basic shape like so. Just honestly play around with it until you've got something that covers up that corner like so, and then I'm just gonna do the same on this side. Okay, so once we've got that, we're gonna grab this thing again and just place another one around there. then transform it so that they're facing that way. Grab this cube again, use the medium grid and 3 times, and rotate it 3 times so that it's like horizontal flat, like so, and then just do the same over here. Then with this base that we copied earlier, we're just going to bring a copy of it over here and resize it to say about that thick. Then just place it on top of these things and line up nicely like that. Then just copy it over and flip them horizontally and then make them so that they're the same sort of, well, roughly the same length as that. And then again, just copy this one round just to make it like a full box and line them up. Then for this middle bit here, we're going to grab the base that we copied from earlier and make it slightly smaller and probably a little bit thinner, like that much. Use the middle grid and transform 1, 2, 3 up and then place it in the middle roughly like that. Then in structurals, grab the small square beam and then just connect each corner of the basic shape here like this, and then do the same for the top one. And then for this top portion here, we're gonna go grab a transparent cube, then just resize it so it fits this area here and transform it in. This probably will take, again, a bit of trial and error, but it'll get there eventually. Then you can get the thin square beam and just trace down here, making these little like horizontal stripes till you've got as many as you need. Then you can just transform them down just to like neaten them up a little bit, but I'll get back to you once I've done that. Okay, so it will look like that, and I'm just gonna paint decorate it and come back to you with the final product.
A few moments later.
But yeah, here's mine finished and decorated. I love it so much. I think this is such a unique one as well. I have never seen a side table like that, and I think it's so cool. Anyways, as promised, here is the little demo room that I've made. I actually love this so much. I went for a little pink colour scheme, very cutesy, but as you can see over here we have the little blanket and the custom sofa I will definitely be using. I love a custom sofa in Bloxburg, it is But over there behind you can see these little custom glass panel doors. This coffee table is stunning. I'm in love with it. But yeah, I actually think this is adorable. If you want to find out how to make other things like this functioning custom door or these little corner bookshelves that I usually add in my builds, all the videos for them will be linked in the description, and the TikToks as well as all the TikToks. So if there's any step in my video that you just didn't understand, TikTok will be linked down there. If you have any questions, obviously let me know and I will try my best to come back to you. But yeah, if you're not already, subscribe. Thank you.